Welcome everyone in this new video tutorial about Diablo-like dungeon generator. In this video we are going to implement a simple logic that allows us to save the dungeon layout we spawned, and in order to respawn it if we want. So it's kind of simple. We just need to store our variable called broadcasted tiles. We just need to store that, and in a save game object, and then we can just extract it if we want. So we are going to do that in this video. So in our system folder we are going to create a new blueprint class, which is going to be a save game. Like that, we're going to call that BP level save. We're going to hit save, we're going to open that up. And what do we want to do here? We want to say that our level save as a variable. What is the type of that variable? This is a broadcasted tile. Alright, so we want that level to have an array of broadcasted tiles like that. We want to call that saved tiles. We want to hit compile, hit save. And then we want to go to our BP level generator. We want to create a new function called create save level, create level save game. We want to duplicate that function. We want to put that function in the level save, just save folder. Now we want to duplicate that function. We want to call that load level save game. Then another one called get level save game. That function is going to be a pure function, and it's going to return our save game, BP level save. This is going to be an object reference. And this is going to be called return value. We're going to hit compile, hit save. And then what do we want to do? We want to say that, so how it is going to be, we want to say that when we press num1, it's actually, so we have a function called generate level. I think it's in our level folder, and we want to duplicate that function, and we want to call that load previous level. We don't want to care about what's in there for now. We just want to close every other tabs and drag that here, and say that when we press num minus, we want to load the previous level. So load previous layouts. This is our level. We're going to hit compile, hit save, and then we want to go back to our. How are we going to do this? Only the server will have access to the saved layouts, I believe. So we want to say that when we actually generate our level, in the end we are actually storing our tile layout, and in there we are storing the broadcasted tiles. And there is no reason why we should not let the client store that. So we are going to make it so everyone is storing the layout. So when we actually rep notify our broadcasted tile array, we are going to grab our newly created get level save game function, and we are going to go to our, we are actually going to duplicate our load level save game function, and we're going to call that save tile save store level save game, and this is going to be called right after our reset level function, store level save game, like this. In there we want to say we grab our level save game, we actually set the save tile like this. And then what do we want to do? We actually want to grab our broadcasted tile array. We want to set that in here like this. And then we want to save that game. Save game to slots. We are actually going to build up a function that does this. So, but for now, we're just going to. So we're going to collapse this to a function. This is going to be called save level. So we have a store level save game. So we just need to call that levels save level game. Save game level. This is strange. Level save game. It's quite strange as well. I hit Control S by mistake, so this is going to be called save game, and this is going to be in our save folder. We're going to go there. In here, we want to promote that to a variable. This is going to be called save level name level save game name like this. We want to hit compile. We want to say that this is called level save. So this is going to create a notepad with that name in your intermediate folder, a saved folder, which is going to contain our saved layout. So whenever we create a layout, so if we go back there, when the array of tile to spawn is being broadcasted, we are actually storing it in our save game. Then we save the game. We actually save the modification we did. And then what do we want to do here? When we get our level save game, we want to promote the parameter to a variable. This is going to be called save game ref. We're going to drop that in our reference folder. We want to check if this is valid. If it's valid, we're just going to return it. If it's not valid, we are going to create the level save game, and then we are going to return it. And what do we want to do when we create the level save game? We want to ask for, does save game exist? What save game we want to ask for? We want to look for this one, the level save game name. So does this exist? If it exists, we want to create it. We want to load it. If not, we want to create a save game object, which is going to be our BP level save. And we want to set our save game ref in here. Create level save game. All right. We want to load it. Actually, what are we going to do here? We can delete that, and in here we can just say we want to load game from slot. So this is going to find the slot of that name. It doesn't know what type of save game that is, so we need to cast that to our type of save, and we can do that. We can hit compile, hit save. So what is this going to do if we go back to our list of events in our broadcasted tile function? We store the level save game. Our save game receives the proper array of tile we spawned. Then we save the game, which means, and I'm sorry, first we try to get the level save game. It tries to find the reference. If it does not find it, it tries to create it. So if it exists, it loads it and store it in a variable. If it doesn't exist, it creates it and store it in a variable. And then we can store the variable in there, and then we can save the game. So going back to our event graph, we are seeing when we press num1, we are loading the previous level. And in there, we actually want to delete the reset level function. We want to go to our generate layout function. We don't want to draw the layout at all. Do we only want to store the tile layouts? In there, it's just saying, so we actually just need to set that. So we are going to copy paste that. We want to delete that, go back to our load previous level function. In there, we want to set that to our, we want to grab our save game. We want to say get save tiles, and we want to ask, is that, did we actually ever stored something in there? If we did, we are actually going to say this is our broadcast, these are our broadcasted tiles, and this is actually going to spawn the previous layout we created. So if I'm hitting play, we have that layout. And actually there is going to be a bug in there because I wanted to hit escape, hit play, and actually press minus to respawn that layout, but it's going to bug because when I'm going to press play, it's going to respawn another dungeon, which is going to erase our save game. So we actually want to say that we don't necessarily always, we are not going to store the level save game every time we actually broadcast a tile. We are actually going to say that when we press enter, not that one. I'm sorry, when we press enter, we are actually going to generate the level, alright? When we press plus, we are actually going to store the level. And when we press minus, we are actually going to load the level, store a level, like that. So if I'm hitting compile, hitting play, hitting save, hitting play, I can press enter to generate other layouts. And then what I can do is, oh, I like that layout. I'm going to store that. So I'm going to hit minus. Okay, minus actually loaded our previous level. So I'm going to reverse them because I feel like it's more, it makes more sense for me. Like that. So when I press minus, it saves the level layout. When I press plus, it spawns the level I had in memory. So if I'm hitting play, I'm going to store that layout with minus. I'm going to hit exit, escape, I'm going to hit play, and then I'm going to hit plus, and it remembers the layout it created, but there are some errors. There are actually lots of errors, if I'm not mistaken. Or why is that tile orange? I'm really not sure why. So I'm going to generate other layouts, and I'm going to respawn our layouts. Okay, so I think I know why it fails. Because when we actually load our previous level, we first want to say that we reset the level like this, and then we want to hit play, we want to hit plus, and it spawns our saved layout properly. We can hit enter to spawn other layouts, and then hit plus to respawn the layout we stored. And we still have some tiles Some tiles are not properly resetting. But the dungeon layout seems to always be the same. And I'm not sure why. Maybe we can try to store the tile layout. But if you have randomization in there, it's going to... I mean, in there we are storing the final version of our layouts. When we store the tile layout, we are actually drawing, we are randomly finding tiles to spawn. And if you want the exact same layout, you need to store the final form of our layout. The final form is after you randomize the tiles. And that's what we're doing. But I'm seeing, I think, I'm not sure if they are errors or just, yeah, they are not happy about what's going on in there. You can see we need to store the tile layout because the storage dungeon doesn't have the proper steps to start and stuff like that, so it's going to fail to spawn things properly. So we don't want to store the broadcasted tile, so we're going to go back to our event graph. We want to go in our store level save game, and in there we don't want to store that. So our level save is not going to have a variable such as this. It's going to have a tmap. It's going to be a map of, so what it is going to be, it's going to be a tile layout. So vector 2D map of tile, level save, saved layout. So this is going to be a vector 2D map of S tile, like that. We're going to hit compile, hit save. And when we do store our level layout, so this is going to be called store level layout, like this. We want to say set saved layout. This is going to be our tile layout. So the client is not going to be able to store that because the tile layout is empty on client. So we want to store the tile layout, and we want to set that, and we want to save the game. And when we load our previous level, we want to reset the level like this, indeed. And we want to reset the layout. And then we want to say, is your layout, is the layout we created not empty? We don't care about the save tile anymore. So is the layout not empty? If so, what do we want to do here? If we go to our generate layout knob, I want the store tile layout. Where are we calling this? Only one place. And I think we just want to say that when we load the previous layouts, we say that if we do have a layout stored in our variable, we want to set the tile layout of the dungeon to that saved layout, and we want to just generate the layout. Not generate it, we want to store the tile layout like this. It's going to loop through it, try to spawn the right tiles and broadcast it. So if we hit compile, we are going to remove our save tile array from our save game, and we want to find out if our level generator is still happy about that. It seems that it's still happy about that, so we can hit play, we can hit enter to generate other layouts, and I actually do like that layout, so I'm going to hit minus to store it. I'm going to escape, I'm going to hit play, and I'm going to try to respawn that layout. So if I'm hitting plus, okay. So it works, except it doesn't store the start tile. So I'm not sure why it fails to spawn the start tile. So if I'm hitting play, hitting minus, I'm spawning another dungeon, and then I'm spawning the stored layout. Okay, so it's working in there, but I'm not sure why it failed in our previous iteration. So if I'm hitting plus, I want that layout to be stored. I'm hitting minus, I'm hitting enter to spawn other layouts, and then I'm hitting plus. Okay, I'm going to hit play, I'm going to tab out, I'm going to hit plus. So it managed to store the previous layout, but I'm not sure why it failed previously. I'm not sure why it actually erased our start tile, but it seems like it's working now. So I can regenerate the saved layout we had if I want to. And it seems to be working. Or does it? We actually have an end tile which is not connected to... Okay, no, it's not working properly. Actually, not at all. Not at all. So why is it not working? It's kind of strange. It looks like our connections that are not working. Yep, the connection, it's not spawning the proper tiles, or the connections are not matching, and I'm not sure why. So if I'm storing that layout, then I'm generating another one, and then I'm loading our layout. The connections are working in there, but if I'm hitting escape, hitting play, hitting plus, and trying to restore our layout, connections are not right. It's quite strange actually. So when are we storing the layout? Okay, I think I know what's wrong maybe. Where are we? So we are actually modifying that everywhere. So I actually want to go to our... It's strange. It's working if we don't exit there. So if I'm storing that layout, spawning another one, and restoring the layout, it's working well. But whenever we actually exit the game, it's not working anymore. So I'm really not sure why. So we are storing the tile layout in there. So I want to go to our level folder of functions. I want to go to our store layout. And when we do that, what do we do after that? I'm wondering if we are not interacting with that map and it's creating bugs. And I'm wondering if it creates bugs somewhere. So when we do reset the layout, maybe we are... Okay, I feel like I'm failing in there. Wanted for style, I think I want to clear that. I want to hit compile, hit play. I want to store that layout using minus. I want to spawn other ones. And I want to restore our layout. Alright, it seems fair. I want to hit exit. hit play. I want to load our layout. Okay guys, I'm going to find out what's wrong and I'm going to go back to you.